Hi, this is going to be a kind of a funny video. I'm going to do some live coding and in the R language, and it's something to do with meteorology data, met data, I call them MET for met data. And just for my tools, I'm using LazyVim, that's a form of NeoVim, and I have some setup. I can't tell you exactly what the setup is. A bunch of dot files for the setup, um, and I mean I can share them. And I'm also using the Ghosty terminal. So that's the kind of tools. And okay, so I want to download some metadata, and so I'm going to call the file to do that met.r, and vim is how I invoke neovim. Okay, so that's the first thing. So I'm going to be using um, that funny little error message was just because it was blank. I think you can ignore that, but I'm going to be using the DoD package to download the data, and you can install that from dev tools. And it's like called install GitHub, I think. Yep, just install GitHub. And I just think you just say this. I mean, I think that's how you do that. And then I'm also going to be using, here's the E library, but for that you just say, because that's on CRAN, and so that's installed automatically. This is installing a development version from my GitHub page. That's github.com/jenkelly/DOD. Okay, so that's good. And maybe I'll start the R server. I'm not showing you my keystrokes because I don't actually know how to make, I have a keystroke showing program, but I don't know how to make that show up in Zoom. And I'm recording this in Zoom. And I don't know if you can hear me typing, but uh, I type a little bit quickly anyways, so those keystrokes would be coming up quickly. I'm going to assume that you don't really need too much direction on how to use Vim. Okay, so I'm going to run those guys. So I just ran them, so that's fine. I'm going to be rerunning just frequently here. Okay, so I happen to know that the thing that I want is called dot.met. So I'm going to go here, and and this is pop-up window is giving me some documentation on it. So yeah, I'll give an ID, but I'm going to use the default ID, which is in a few kilometers from where I am actually, and it's going to give wind in Halifax because I'm interested in the ocean in Halifax for some particular purpose. So I'm not going to give the ID, but I'm going to give the year and the month and the type, etc. So let's see, for the year, I'll say I'm interested in that. I think you can only give a month at a time for that server, so that's fine. Delta T is an hour, which I think that's the default, and I think that's all you can get from the server. I could check into that because I actually wouldn't mind having less than an hour, but I'll work with an hour. That's fine. Now for the type, I could use XML. That's default. And that's fine. I'm going to be reading it with an OCE function that can read both. XML has more data, like more metadata in it, but I'm going to do type as CSV because then if you want, you can have a look at the file. Let's see. So, and you'll notice it's showing this little pop-up window every time I press a space. The destination directory is where you want to put the data when it downloads them. And it's defaulting to the present. That's fine. Age is equal to 1. That means save. If you already got a file of that file of data, don't bother re-getting it. I actually have that file of data, pretty sure. Let me pop out of the editor just for a second there. Sorry. Um, yeah. So so that's good. So I've cleaned that up. So it will download. And but maybe I'll say age equals 100. Um, you want to be a little judicious in how you do this. I'm not sure why it's saying that it has a token. Okay, well that's oh, it's that. Somehow I got that from that's good. Um, Yeah, each 100. It means to save it for that long. So if you have data which are sort of updated through time, then you wouldn't want to do that. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I could have put age infinity because I think once the data are on the server, they don't change. Not 100% sure on that. I wouldn't be too surprised if they could go back in time and say, oh goodness, we recalibrated the sensor because at the end of the year, we got the temperature. So we're going to change all the temperatures. Anyway, that's fine. So I'm going to run the whole thing. And what happens is it's saying it downloaded first some small, like half a kilobyte and then 14 kilobytes. Like that seems strange. Well, many times Dodd has to do a multi-step thing. Maybe it has to get an index first. I think that's what this is. But I don't really know what the two things are. It doesn't matter very much. And then you see a string being printed. So Dodd.met returns the name of a file where it saved it. So I'm going to assign that to maybe F, run it again. So that goes away and then run it again and you see that. So that's good. Now what we're going to do is maybe I'll save the data and I'll say, so now this is an OCE function that I'm calling. This was a Dodd function and this is an OCE function. You don't have to put those things in because library kind of gathers those namespaces. And I'm a little divided on whether I think it's good to put in or not. I think maybe it is good to put in, but it's not conventional, so I won't bother with that. Okay, so I just did that. And so it read something. If I type, sorry, if I type that, I just rewriting the whole thing again. You see it's a met object, so that's fine. You can also do a summary of the, and we'll look at that. And that's come, so it's, my eyes aren't very good, so I use a big font, and your eyes are probably better than mine. So the reason why this is kind of formatted oddly is just because of that. It's because my terminal is not that wide, but I don't care too much anyways. So let's see. So let's just do plot of B. I wonder if that does anything. Well, it does. So, okay, I'm sorry. Just give me one moment here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. I had to pause it in order to share this window. So that's what we get. So let's see, there's the temperature, the pressure, that's atmospheric pressure. It's in kilopascals. So that's fine. There's some missing data in here. It's always the case. And then here's U and V. I'm actually mostly interested in U and V. So I think I should extract them. So how about if we do that? Oh, I'll get time too. Okay, so I'm using a special thing here, that square bracket, quote. What that says is it says to D, which is an OCE object, it says, I want you to try to figure out time. Look within yourself and find time. Now, time is actually stored there directly, but this look within yourself, the square bracket notation, can be pretty handy because it can compute other things as well. And for at the moment, this is all we need. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get also U and V. So that extracts them all. I'll run the whole thing and see if there's any errors. Nope. Um, so let's get two plots now. And we'll plot .ts time, yeah. U and V. So I'm doing space CF to format. I do that a lot. Okay, so that's what we've got. We've got a month worth of data. So that's fine. We're getting the plot we wanted. Notice that I was asking for data starting in 2024 and I got some near the end of 2023. It's because R has this system which is inherited by this OCE.plot.ts, the system of putting space on the sides, but there's a standard way of reporting that, which is to specify the x-axis. And I forgot to put the quotes there, so it was giving me an error message on that. Okay, so there we go. That looks nice. I don't actually want this thing up at the top here. I mean, it's handy, but I just don't think I want it. So we'll do that and run it all again. So we've cut that out. So that's fine. So it's looking good so far. Now, I think maybe what we want, honestly, is how much time have I used up here? 11 minutes. Let's see. I think I'm going to see if I can get a whole year of data. So I'll show how I do that. Instead of having one file name, I'm going to have a whole bunch of file names. Maybe I'll call it Fs. That'll be a vector of characters. And I'll have 12 of them, so that's good. What I'm going to be doing. And they'll say, so I'm saying for month in 1 to 12, so this is Fs at month, so that's good. And we'll put M there. So I hope you can see what I've just done. When I run that, it's going to download 12 months of things, of data, and it's going to assign them to FS, which has got 12 elements in it. I'll put a stop here. I do this quite a lot. I use my own name because I can recognize that easily in code. So I'm writing the code. It's going to take a little while. It won't re-download the January data, but it's getting the other data as well. I mean, it's sort of coming along there. Maybe while that's coming along, I'll start writing code to read because, what the heck? I can do both at the same time, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to say time. Okay, so what I've done there is, I'll get rid of that. Yep, so what I've done there is I've said, make an empty thing called time. And okay, that's good. And so now I'm going to say time. Oh, first I've got to say met. I was calling it M before, but met read.met of fs at M. So it's going to read the mth file. So that'll be good. And then I'll say, I hope you can see what I've just done there. So what I'm going to do there is in that second loop, I'm reading the 12 files that I just made. So that's fine. We don't need this again. We don't need these things. And actually, I think we have what we need there. Let me just see. Oh, no, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's see what we have. So U is M of U. That's assigned. That's assigned. Um, I, what's going on here? Time didn't get assigned into. What is F's then? Okay, so F's is okay. Read.met. Okay. Just me being an idiot. Okay, so there I read them into an object called met. Before I was calling it M. My bad, I guess is what I would say. Okay, so there we go. So that's that. And the reason why it only showed one was because I was sort of in the middle of things. Okay, so that's good. Now we've got the whole year's worth of data, but I don't quite like it because they have different scales, which I find confusing. So how about if I do Liam assign range? Oh no, I won't do that. Okay, so in that line, what I've done is I'm taking, I want the max of the absolute value. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm finding the absolute value, I'm finding the max of that, multiplying -1. What that's going to do is make systems that are the same for both. Did I do that? Yep. Okay. So now I'll just put in here and can you notice that I very often copy something, even if it's an error, if that's going to be fewer keystrokes, then if correcting the error after is going to be fewer keystrokes, I often do that. So this is looking good so far. So I'm putting in zero lines. So there's the zero lines in red. And it's getting to be fairly useful. Now, by the way, you can do things like this too. So the top one now has tighter margins because I hate white space. So I'm going to do the same for the other one as well. And run it all again. So the margins, I think I've got two because there's no, I don't need space on the bottom for all that. So I'll put two there. Probably fine. And I probably only need space if I'm not wanting to draw a label at the top. I'll just do that. And honestly, I'll do that there too. I'm just someone who hates white space, that's all. Um, Anything else I should be saying here? It's been 17 minutes. I think that's about what I wanted to show. And in summary, we'll just maybe kill the R server there. So I've written a page of code, 27 lines of code. 27 lines of code you can see. I've set a space for 12 character things because 12 months of this year I want to look at. This is a loop that goes through each of the months. This downloads the data and dot.met returns a file name. So if the data are already downloaded and have been downloaded within the past 100 days, it doesn't re-download them and it returns the file name. So at the end of that loop, in other words, by line 7, FS will be filled up with the names of those files. What I'm doing here is getting some empty space. And here I'm looping through all the months. And for each one, I'm grabbing the data file for that month. And I'm extracting the time for it and concatenating it. That's what C stands for, concatenating it to the time I already have, which is null to begin. So that's going to, every time it goes through, it's going to shove that month's worth of time values. And that does the same for you, and that does the same for V. This says I want two plots. This says I want the plots to be, how to put it, to be the same for the two, because I'm doing the same YLIM for the two different plots. And I want the negative, I want the Y range to be centered on 0. That's what that's doing. This x-axis is saying that I don't want to have space to the left and right of the time range. The setting of mar for margin is saying I want 2 lines at the bottom, 3 lines on the left, because I'm not putting in the year or anything on the bottom. Want half a line at the top and half a line on the right. This AB line is rung horizontal lines. And that's it for the video. Now, I don't have comments allowed in my YouTube videos, but what I'm thinking of doing is emailing a few people who I think might be interested in this and just ask them candidly, but over email, if they think it's useful. If it is, I might make more videos like this. Now, you might think, gosh, what with social networking and everything, why doesn't he want comments? Because I'm just doing this for fun and to help people. And if you have comments, basically becomes your job. I don't know, every morning to look at the comments and make sure no one put anything political or, advertising their company or complaining about another person's comment or whatever. I just think comments on things can be counterproductive. And if it's someone who makes their living by YouTube, I guess they want them, but I don't want them. Okay, I hope this video was useful. And thanks for watching. Take care.